hello and welcome. We are here for the ANZAC Classic. Today is ANZAC Day, so I want to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we all stand, as well as our elders, past, present and emerging. And ANZAC Day is all about remembering those who have served to defend Australia and New Zealand, so lest we forget. Today, we all in the Zwift world are gathering to embrace our competitive spirit. And Anna, our cross-Tasman mateship, we're going for a jaunt around Watopia. So it is the ANZAC Day Classic. And what have we got in store today?
Let's have a look. First, we've got the short options. We've got the C and D category. C being the Aussies and D being the Kiwis. You'll see them out on course soon in their resplendent national kits. But this is a short course, fairly simple one, round our Watopia waistband, 25.5k, and you can see from that elevation almost all flat. So that is going to be a very, very fast race that we're bringing you there. Then we have a look at the long option. This is a little bit more tricky. This is for our A and B, A being the Aussies and B being the Kiwis. And this is 40 kilometers, a bit longer, and you can see it finishes on the Volcano. So this is the Volcano KQOM After Party. That is going to be pretty full on. We'll head down straight to the racing now. We'll head to the short option first, as they are just heading through Fuego Flats on their little 25 kilometer jaunt around Watopia.
All right, well, now it's predominantly Aussies and Kiwis, but I have found a few little errant flags in there, Anna, people who have jumped in, and we do absolutely encourage that, and it's great to see everybody out here. So as you explained, we've got the two different categories, essentially, to tell the difference between the Aussies and the Kiwis, but they do a pretty good job with the jerseys. And while most people are out there to have a little bit of a race, because I think we've got a very competitive cohort of both Aussies and Kiwis, there's also a lot of people who are just participating in a Grand Fondo capacity. And so we encourage all of those riders to keep it up as well. But at the front, this is pretty much what we'd call a classic Zwift blob, Anna. There is really, they're clicking on at a decent pace at around 44k an hour, but nobody in particular is taking responsibility for the pace.
No, exactly. Unlike the other race, the longer race, which we will maybe just come to on a side-by-side, because they've got a bunch who was attacked off the front early. Just a short bunch of, there's 492 races in this long race. There's a lot of people. And this is a short little group at the front on the left-hand side. You can see in the longer race. Go the Kiwis out there on the front. They're looking great. Also men and women all together in this race. So just something to keep an eye on. They have just gone up that little climb out of the tunnel. They're now going to sort of, you can just see here, hit a bit of dirt roads. Again, this one is predominantly flat with the Volcano at the end. So that's going to spice things up. You can see there all the different kits. I saw a lot of banter at the start. Gordon Macaulay too. You might know that name from Commonwealth Games in the past.
Yes, a good time ago. In fact, I got a selfie with Gordon Macaulay at the Manchester Commonwealth Games because I was such a fangirl. So there you go. There's a fun fact for you. I think I did at Melbourne Commonwealth Games as well. So great to have him out there. I'd imagine he'd have quite a few athletes as well. And I want to point out straight up, of this 492 riders, we have a lot of our top notch that we see racing a lot in both Community League. Good to see Tully Lister out there as well. He is the head of Aero, which is, of course, the Australian Esports Racing organisation, which is the foremost production factory, can I call it that? Well, I just did, for talent in Australia in esports. You have an equivalent, though, Anna, with NZ Bro. They're a little bit later to the scene than Aero, a few years behind, but they're also producing some incredible athletes.
Oh, they are. Yeah, they're coming in strong. And I did see Ben Ruth kind of coming through. There's a biggish little blob there. So it's we're trying to sort of see the names as they pop up on the screen. But I did see Ben Ruth. He's a ex-elite runner. He might have actually gone to the Com Games for running himself. So Kiwi Matt here, always like the Kiwi Mark Bosted. Now, what kit is he riding in? Because I saw you trolling me a little bit on Instagram as to what he might be riding in. I mean, it's got to be the Kiwi kid. I'll see if I can pull him up when I see his name popping through this huge group of riders. But yeah, G Rose there. Is he off the front, maybe? He is. There is a Australian just off the front here, doing very well. This is you can see that big blob of trons coming through from the back, but looking nice. I'm liking this. This is a good little move, attack off the front. Not quite the fastest bike in game, I would say. It's the Canyon 2021 Aero Road, so not amazing for the flats. I think a disc would still be good, but you do have the Volcano Climb, so I can't forget that, I think.
It is an interesting one. Now, that's Graham Rose. It's great to see him having a bit of a dig. He's a level 28, so we need to bear in mind what wheels and bikes he might have access to, because he doesn't quite have the same experience. He's one of those kind of threshold riders where he's not quite category A. He's like an almost A. He's definitely improved a lot and moved up there. I really like the tenacity of the way he's racing. And I also can't help but giggle at all of the comments. Good to see Corinne Doland here. Hello, Corinne. Lovely to see you as always. About the jerseys, where even the Aussies appear to be endorsing their favourite from a fashion perspective for the Silver Fern. I mean, what do we think of that? Because you are, for those who don't know, Anna and I commentate the community leagues, and Anna is also known as Whiteboard Queen and or Fashion Police. So from a fashion perspective, what do we think about the jerseys here, Anna?
I mean, I feel like that's a trick question. What is not to love about that black kit? It's so stealth, and look at that. Just looks great there too with that black Wahoo cap that person is rocking. There's no socks on this Hamlin rider, so unfortunate there. It's a great British flag. Maybe they're just residing in New Zealand at the moment, but yeah, that black, it just stands out, right? I mean, I know it is a favourite in the peloton. People do like this, and at the Olympics, I think people do really like that sleek black on black. So yeah, I've got to say that's probably my fave. I do feel like that was a bit of a trick question though. Back to the shorter race.
So let's take a look. The racing around the shorter course is going to naturally just have a very different flavour because it is flat. It is the average speed is very high. It is 25.5 kilometres, and we are looking at them finishing in fairly swift pace. It will be swift, not Zwift, although I guess you could say both. How's that? It's not early in the morning enough to be able to excuse bad puns for that.
I have
had coffee. But it is at this average speed of above 40k an hour, this will be over fairly quickly. So they can afford to just push that pace and keep it high. It also makes it very difficult, Anna, doesn't it, to force any breaks. So to get away when the average speed is above the 40k an hour mark is not an easy thing to do.
No, absolutely not. And it will favour the sort of heavier riders, say they'll have huge power. So it is going to be tricky for those hill climbers. Although if they're a hill climber, they should have really, linked in with the longer race as that goes up the volcano. I'm seeing Sonia Foot here, actually. I do want to note, I just raced with her in the Premier League last week. She did very well. Here we go. Sonia Foot. So she is a Commonwealth Games mountain biker. Has become very, very prevalent on Zwift. Let's see if I can. There she is in the pink helmet. She is a great, great Kiwi athlete. So represented New Zealand maybe twice at Com Games in mountain biking, and just sort of building up her skill set in esports. She did compete in the eSport World Championships, which was obviously a very, very brutal course, but this one could suit her well. She's made it into the front pack where obviously she is riding with the fellas as well. Aaron Bleakley. Sorry, I've got to call out Aaron Bleakley.
Well, no, what I want to point out with that is I saw that too. We have to remember that today the categorization is not like normal. It's just an administrative thing. So you get to choose long or short. So we are going to have some ACAT riders. I think that might not be Brie Wilson. We will have some ACAT riders in this, what says DCAT, because it's not the typical categorized. It's just that some of the A riders will have chosen to actually ride the shorter race. So think about it like that. There's a long race, there's a short race. They're not categorised A and B largely, or C and D, just separates the Aussies from the Kiwis. So to have Aaron Bleakley out there, I feel that's almost a little bit mean for him to do the short course, Anna. And he is your PC Yoda, is that what?
Yeah, so he's my PC Yoda, and I've got to say as well, he works as he's not a harvester, but he has been on the harvester because they've been a bit short-staffed. He is a manager at Spy Valley Vineyard, which is an amazing vineyard in Blenheim in New Zealand. And they've actually hooked me up with some great wines for the holiday that we have here. So I had a beautiful Pinot Gris last night. Got to say it's one of the best I've had. So thank you, Aaron Bleakley. Very much appreciated. That was fantastic. You get the cookies, I'll get the wine.
PC Yoda and a sommelier.
Absolutely.
We like that. But we get Mark Boasted, so we'll leave you with Aaron Bleakley and the wine. Now, this is a whittled down pack, and I say that because there is a huge number of riders in this category as well, into the hundreds. But we do have some big groups that are around the 11-second mark, and then again the 48 and 50, so they have really broken into some very distinct groups. It is very good to see Sonia Foote in there. We've got Summertime, one of our favourites from Community League. She is riding for the Aussies. She's in one or two groups back, but it is great to see. She's with DDC. Now, Dutch Diesel Cycling have been one of just the best thing that has happened on the women's side in esports Zwift racing. So I love seeing any of those riders out there. And it's going to be a very different experience for the women in this kind of racing than it usually is in the Community League. Great to see Michelle from AHDRL. She leads a lot of the community rides. She would have a very big cohort out here today. So it's really great to see a lot of the familiar names that we see week in and week out. Sharon McMaster is another one who's out there in one of the groups just behind. So well done to all of the ladies. But we are watching the front group here.
So they're looking good. They're just hitting this sort of desert climb. It's not a categorized climb. It's very simple, basically. But because they've come from a lot of flat, it can just put a bit of hurt on the legs. I did see a comment coming in there from Margot Southgate. Now, she is a huge fan of Zwift. She actually slept on my couch last year. She came up and commentated our live e-triathlon event. So she's one of the ones who got on board. So she is a very, very enthusiastic commentator and out here riding. I think she will have maybe dropped off the pace here. Can't quite see her name there. As we see Aaron Bleakley moving to the front, we'll head back to the longer race, see what's going on over there. They've just come around the volcano, so they're not going up the volcano yet. They've just come around, and then they're going to it's mostly flat for a while, and then they'll head up the climb, which will be hard. Looks like they've brought in the rider who was off the front, and they're all, as Dave would say, Grupo Compacto.
Grupo Compacto. The long course is pretty much flat until they go up the volcano. So I do expect that we will see a much bigger group through the bottom. Usually we will see some attacks before the base from the riders who are solid climbers but prefer to climb at their own pace. And I'll break that down a little bit more, because when I say I was a sprinter, Anna, and when I say I really can't climb, there's actually nuance to that. I can climb fairly well at my own pace, but I'm not a dynamic climber. So when I climb with a climber and they're able to make small accelerations back and forth, that really makes my legs suffer. And I would do well in hilly races when there weren't a huge number of climbers there to do that, but that the pack, even as it whittled down, would climb at a very consistent pace. So what we might see is some of the more powerful riders who typically you might call more of a classic, like a one-day kind of classic specialist, or even a bit of a sprinter, having a bit of a go before the bottom of the climb so that they can go up there at their own pace. And the volcano climb is actually a pretty good climb for somebody who has a lot of power that is not necessarily a identifies as a climber. So I do expect that kind of move, because that will usually the climbers will let that go, because they will be just focused on their own race, but it kind of divides it into two different groups.
Yeah, it does. And have you happened to see Liège Bastogne Liège? Liège Bastogne Liège yet?
I did, yes. Quite a race for the men and the women.
Yeah, similar. Just a, I mean, people have watched this delayed over these solo breakaways in both. So I always wonder, it's the kind of question I have all the time as I'm starting to watch more in real life bike racing. How do you make a breakaway stick in Zwift? And I mean, are the races just too short? They're an hour long, so there's not that fatigue in the legs like there would be in a Liège Bastogne Liège, where it's so long, and so it really depends on how well you can attack with fatigue. I mean, I think with these, if you're looking at the strategy here, I like what you're saying. I also think the Volcano Climb, it's sort of, you can break it into three. It's sort of up, flat, up, a bit of flat, and then really hard up to the line. Now, someone has got to break away if they want to sort of make this against some of these really heavy hitters that we're seeing here. I'm looking at sort of the Mark Bosteds, the ones who race regularly on the Zwift Racing League in the Premier type divisions. They've got to kind of get away, and whether they can, I don't know if anyone's on Discord. I don't know if we've got sort of an Aussie Discord and a Kiwi Discord. I know the NZ Bro crew probably will be, but yeah, they might have to try something, because it is just going to be a full 6-minute power effort at the end otherwise, which will be hard for people, like you said, who, are maybe better at the 15-second efforts.
I feel like, they're really vying for a little bit of bragging rights here between the Aussies and the Kiwis. And I'm thinking, a bit of an honorary what's at stake here, Anna, maybe the right to claim Pavlova. That could be something.
Maybe the right to claim Russell Crowe. You guys could take him.
I was about to say, or Mark Bosted.
No, he has to stay here. We've just seen an attack here from Robinson in the shorter race. So that was just coming up out of the little climb from the tunnel in Watopia onto the dirt. So they've only got about 10 kilometres to go. So not far. His move has been pulled in, unfortunately for him. So a little bit of an early move there. Tried to get away, but couldn't quite do it. But look at that. Look at all those Kiwi jerseys. That is looking just amazing.
Yeah. A bit outnumbered there. Jason Robinson, a level 47 Zwifter, so he's got a fair bit of racing experience. He rides his club team, his dad's inside racing trainers, riding trainers, so we know that there's some small humans running around, hopefully not sticking their hands anywhere near the trainer, which I think is always the first thing as a parent when they're old enough to be out of the bouncer, that you're like, oh gosh, don't go doing that. But I love that Dirt have come together as a community to celebrate, because as the women and support each other, we often have a lot of kind of mums groups, but the dads don't necessarily have the same support. Now, Jason is another one who's like on the brink of being in the A's. He's a bit of an almost A, B cat rider, and so really tenacious move from him. And I think that this kind of structure of racing is quite unique. And I honestly think they should do it a little bit more, rather than the very more kind of strict community league levels that people are put into. Sometimes this brings out kind of different attributes in riders when they're able to have a go. So I think it would be very, very difficult to force a break, given the pace, given the course. But I love the tenacity, and I think Jason Robinson did a really good job there. What I think is quite interesting is that we have the club team, and I use those words interchangeably a bit, Anna, because sometimes they're racing teams, sometimes they're actually clubs now that they've brought in the new club system. So bear with me when I say that.
Yes, yeah.
We also then have the national team, like the national team jersey. So, is there a little bit of loyalty with the team jersey, even if they're riding for a rival club or racing team? Do you think that the Aussies and or Kiwis would defend that a bit?
I think so. I think you'll start to see, I don't know about the Aussies. I know with the Kiwis, when you put on that silver fern, that's it. You are racing for the silver fern, absolutely. So seeing another little dig off the front here. Not sure who that is. That's is it Bleakley again? Yes, Aaron Bleakley off the front. The thing I have to question Aaron on is what's with the green and gold socks? Is he sort of
Ooh.
a bit Kiwi and
I
a bit
think
Aussie, or
is he trolling you now?
I
I
think
thought
he
that was
is.
my job.
Oh,
Thank you, PC Yoda, sommelier, troller.
I'm not sure. I like this. Yeah, it should be black on black on black on black. If you're rocking that silver. But this is a nice little attack, riding up here at 6.4, 6.7 watts per kg. Aaron Bleakley, he's got the moves going, and they don't have long to go, less than 9 kilometres.
No, and interestingly, he's only a level 39 Swifter. I say only because somebody with his racing experience and his power, you just imagine, is actually, has been upgraded a little bit more. But it kind of goes to show that he's been very efficient for the number of kilometres that he's ridden. Now, Jason Robinson, don't let him get away. This is kind of throwing a little bit of water on the fire of your loyalty there, Anna, because Kiwi saying don't let the Kiwi get away. What do we think about that?
I'll go with he's kind of tricking the rest. He's saying don't let them get away, and he's forcing the Aussies. He's forcing the Aussies to chase. But he's got 9 seconds now. This is big. And we saw that pack before, how many Kiwis were actually in that. So how many Kiwis will work on the front? Let's have a look back at the pack. Yeah, it's Aussies who have to go to the front to chase this down. Yeah, that's it. So this is good strategy. Get those Kiwis on the back as one moves to the front now. Who is that moving to the front? Move behind, or they're slowing the pack down. That would be a good move as well. Get on the front and then really, slow the pace, just mess it up a little.
You're in quite a devious mood.
I know. I like this. 14 seconds now to Aaron. I think he's going to. They're going to take this little downhill down the sort of dirt part past the Italian villas. Then they're going to head around the volcano again, predominantly flat, and then go through to the finish line. So this race course is very short, 17.4 kilometers. It's only 25. So looking at about 6k, just over 6k to go, and Aaron's lighting it up, I got to say.
Well, normally you have a lot of these conversations happening in private Discords. One of the differences that we are seeing today as well is that some of the Aussies and Kiwis are throwing in some public comments because they have no other way of communicating with their kind of their teammates here, but they're normally not. They may not have even raced with them before. And so there is a little bit more going out publicly. And look, you may be right. It may be like a bit of we're just here to slow it down. Thank you, Aaron Norton. That's like a little bit cheeky.
I love it. Andy Norton knows what he's talking about. He's slowing it down. They're messing it up. They're not letting any Aussies get away. This is fantastic. Aaron has pulled the great tactical move for the Kiwis. Look at this, off the front, 17 seconds, and I'll guarantee it's some Aussies on the front with a visor, no less. What do you have to say about that, Kate?
I'm not sure about the visor. I have to be honest. But I like the Tron, but I don't like the lack of socks. I mean, I've in community leagues, you normally have a fashion police. I feel like she would be in overtime today if we were utilising her. What I do think let's just backtrack a bit, because we said that there would not be an opportunity for a break to go on a race like this. It would be very, very difficult. What Aaron Bleakley has done is used his absolute race experience and timing to jump away when they were all just looking at each other a bit after Jason Robinson came back, and perhaps all similarly thinking, this is not a good course to force a break, so why waste energy? And he was also lingering around the back a bit. So when he did go, it wasn't just a roll to the front and increase the pace. Like, he seriously thought about how to make that happen and how to get it going. So I think that shows a lot of race experience from Aaron Bleakley, and we know that he also has the watts and the power to back it up. He is an ACAT racer in community, and he would quite easily fit into a Prem League team, I think, as well. But he has been developing more and more. There is no Prem League this season, so we are seeing a lot of this talent come back. In the long course, we do have Sam Hill as well, so we'll talk about them when we get there. But Sonia Foote still hanging in there, Anna. What a sensational ride I'll give it to her for the Kiwi. I don't think we're need to be so divided across the ditch that we can't commend the other countries'
Exactly.
athletes. But Sonia is such a talent. I really think that she's got a big career ahead of her in the esports world if she really keeps progressing how she has been.
Yeah, we're seeing a couple going off the front. Delvin here from World Elite Zwifters, and this might be Kevin here from NZ Bro. They are now chasing down Aaron. They've built that back into about 8 seconds on Aaron. You can just see him up the road there. He's looking still okay, a little bit vulnerable, I might say, from these two riders coming across. And are they bringing anyone with them? That is the question. We look back as Kevin gets out of the saddle. We've got an Aussie rider coming through, Shin here, leading the charge, which is just going to pull the pack up. Aaron's lead now just down to 8 seconds off those two at the front. So this has definitely done some damage, and there's some motivation here. They're going to look less than 5K to go. This is where they've got to start making those moves.
Well, Rusty Devlin is actually kind of a runner come triathlete. He did the World Championships in triathlon in about 2018, I think, and he got top 5 in the 25 to 29 category age groupers. So he's a very well-developed athlete, and he's quite dynamic. Since he's been on Zwift, he's been really improving his ability to have those higher watt outputs. I mean, you're a triathlete yourself, Anna, and it's a broad rule, it's a generalization, but generally when triathletes jump into cycling, they're very good diesels. They're very strong, but they struggle a little bit with pace changes. So Rusty Devlin has done a really good job, I think, of developing.
He's listening to you,
regard.
Katie.
He's
listening to the stream.
G'day, Rusty.
You're making him blush.
Good on you. I like the way you're racing. Aaron Bleakley, we're watching him again. It did come down. You're right, to 8 seconds, but it's going back out again. And if these pack don't continue to lay down attacks and force that pace, that will continue to yo-yo, and the indecisiveness, you can see them just in the background though. So 12 seconds, I don't know, that it doesn't really look like 12 seconds, but let's let the algorithm do its thing more than our eyesight in this regard. It happens in real life too.
Taz Self here, so he's another triathlete. He's doing well, and look, he's getting chased down by Rusty. The two triathletes up against each other at over 8 watts per kg. Everyone knows this is a danger move as Taz is trying to chase down Blink. Look at that gap now, 5 seconds. They have absolutely demolished that gap that he had. 4 seconds now up to Aaron Bleakley. Look at these guys chasing him down. They will probably get there on the downhill. We will come back to the long race shortly, but these guys are 3 kilometers away from the finish. This is looking very good here for those chasers, and here they come. Rusty, Taz, Robinson, looks like 2 Aussies, 3 Kiwis coming through to the finish. Aaron's dropping a draft, so he'll have no power up at the end. Unfortunately, there might be a few people with arrows here. I thought there just for a sec that Shin had a power drop, but he's looking good. This is going to be quite the sprint to the end.
Well, that came back very, very quickly, and I might note that Taz Self, he's under 20. He's a kid, so he's a youngster. Great to see him pushing the pace with this. Now, this is a tight group of 5. For Devlin and also...
it's twitchy here. They're just about at the finish line.
This is,
Are they going to sprint? What's going on here? Wait, no.
They're leaving it a bit late.
No, I've gotten ahead of myself. The finish line is in the desert. Sorry, team. Yeah,
you're right.
I got too excited. It is in the desert, so
everybody gets a little heart attack.
Don't mind me. But that was a good move. They are now they're only 2 seconds ahead of this pack, so I think they're all going to come back together.
Oh, I think this is...
Yeah, this will come back together, and then they're going to take a left-hander and go up into the desert, and that is where they have sort of a gradual uphill going up, and that's where someone might make another early move because it is flat once they get there all the way to that Fuego Flats banner arch. My excitement has gone down a little as I know that we are still, 1,500 metres-ish away from the end. Not right there. There wasn't a sprint. I was getting well excited there for an all-out 3v2 sprint, but there we go. All back together.
Yikes. Well, we do have some quite powerful riders in the kind of 15-second sprint category. And Jason Robinson, I'm looking at you. He's definitely a rider who is very well placed in a sprint. His 15-second power, Anna, is around the 16 watts per kg. So fair to put him in the sprinter camp for that. But we do have some Aussies as well who might be quite competitive. John Shin, Rusty Devlin as well. He's got quite a good sprint on him. So it's going to come down to timing. And also they're not on tarmac. So this does slow the legs a little bit. It's a little bit heavier riding than if they're on the fast tarmac. They do need to absolutely consider timing here. Are there going to be any lead outs? Will they look after their countrymen, or will it be each to their own? I tell you what, I wouldn't be wanting to lead out. There's my hot tip for anybody. This is not a sprint you want to lead out in. This is a sprint you want to back off and hit them with a little bit of power, or follow the wheel and just pop off it. But it's going to be a very long lead out if you're on the front.
Yeah, I just saw some riders dropping their draft power up as well, which is risky because you're not going to get another power up before the end. And that's it. That's the power. That would have been a perfect power up for the end of this race, being a flat, long finish. The feathers, good idea. You're on a climb section, so may as well use them to recover a little bit. But yeah, the draft power up, I wouldn't have dropped that just yet. I would definitely have saved that. I'm a little bit worried. I mean, I think what they've got is they've got aero, draft, or feather. Those with the aero power ups will be saving those because I didn't see many power ups being dropped before that Watopia. What I thought was a sprint finish, and that means that I think people are holding on to them. That could make a big difference. 15 seconds on that kind of a sprint, we're looking pretty good. They're just coming past that right-hander for the Titans Grove, and then they're going to hit that desert. Looking at the Ks up there, not long to go at all. We're looking at a race of, it's quite a long lead-in actually. So you think about 27 kilometers. So still a little way to go while we're watching them sort of come together and start eyeing each other up. Let's have a look what's happening in that longer race. Looks like everyone's together, but what'll make you happy, Kate, is there is a lot of green and gold in that main pack.
It does make me happy. You're right. To see that. There is a lot of black and white in the shorter lap, but we will be able to duck over and see a lot more what's happening, especially at what we can call the business end of the race when this shorter race is finished. But a very big pack cruising along there at the moment. So when they do have so many legs to chase as well, it also makes it a little bit more difficult to break that up. There will have to be quite a concerted effort of pace to start dropping some of the riders off the back there, but I imagine quite a lot of them will just be waiting for that volcano and for the climb.
Do you know what was really interesting there? So that looked like a huge pack, but there was actually a bunch of shorter racers who had jumped into the back of them and then had just taken that left-hander. So now we're back to just this first pack of the long race riders on that left-hand side you can see on screen. Let's head over as we're seeing some power-ups being dropped to this shorter race. We've got an early attack from Kay here, who I want to say is Kevin from NZ Bro. I'll have a look through and see if I can find that because he's put a nice little attack on the front and this has really strung out the field. Is it Bleakley again? It is Bleakley again with a drafting power up off the front. He is going super, super early.
Well, he's used to slightly long races and he's obviously got some pretty good legs, but they won't completely let him go. It's just that they'll run out of time to chase and it is stringing out a lot more than we have seen to date. So this is where the pressure is really on. At 50k an hour, if that pack is chasing together, they will be able to bring him back because just the way the algorithm works in game, it's a little bit harder in Zwift to stay away than it would be to do a late flyer in real life. But good move from Bleakley because he's a reasonably swift sprinter, but he possibly doesn't quite have the punch of some of the other riders. So to win, this is the best bet for him to keep it going. He's not far off the finish now, and that pack has balked somewhat, a bit across the road. Jason Robinson sitting at the front, he's the one with that big power kick. I do think he could bring that back very, very quickly if he just jumped across. But the finish line can't be too far away now, Anna. So Aaron Bleakley
this is amazing.
Pushing. We can see the arch up here. I don't think he'll make it. I think the pack is going to swarm.
Yeah, this is, they've just crossed over. That's 500 metres to go now, about 40 seconds left of this race. We're going to see already some people flying out of the pack. They're going to try and catch Aaron. They will catch him. He is probably more of that diesel engine because he has gone well off the front. Let's see who's going to open up. We've got Rusty here opening it up over, it was a Bleakley Robertson as well, looking over the top, aero power up like I talked about. Look at those legs spinning, 140 RPM. What is he in? The small chain ring. That is crazy. Slow RPM, right up out. Look at that. Robinson to take the win. Absolutely phenomenal. That was quite the finish from Robinson. Great work, as Jonathan Doyle said. Awesome job. Will take us back to the longer races. They're still all together, kind of relaxing compared to that sprint finish. What a race.
Yeah, Jason Robinson, we knew that he would be a sprinter to watch. He's a 16 watts per kg average 15-second sprinter. So we knew that he would be the powerful one, but he kind of took the mickey a little bit there, didn't he? That was a very well-timed and very impressive sprint. He's also got a very high FTP. He's a very powerful rider. So I'm glad to see that sprint prevail, but good ride from Aaron Bleakley. I think if we had a 5K hero today, that's another little fun thing we get in Community League. We have a fancy little stinger too, have a bit of a dance to. I think Aaron Bleakley would be our 5K hero, and Sonia Foote, because she finished up there with the fellas as well. So here we go. Here's our Aussie Mark Bosted.
And look at him though. Look what he's wearing. Look what he is wearing. I just want to look. Black, yellow sunglasses, kind of black socks, white shoes, but this is on point. This is what I like to see. Mark Bosted in the Kiwi kit, riding off the front. This just looks like it should, sitting in that Aussie kit, it just doesn't quite sit right. But we've got Craig here from the Dirt Vipers chasing him down. He's on that orange Tron. He's looking quite good. This is a bit of a dangerous move. I mean, these guys, it's about 40 kilometers. What have we got? Yeah, 40.5 kilometers. So this is looking at the last 10 kilometers here. Mark Bosted can ride these watts all day long.
Well, I've noticed there are a few Canadians also riding. Most of them are actually in the Aussie category. Wearing the Aussie jerseys, but one of them that I have seen up there, Karsten Ivani, he's RC Ivani, and very familiar name, very good sprinter, does a lot of the community leagues. It's great to see him also participating out there, but it is a little bit confusing when they're in the Aussie or NZ kit. And I wonder, Anna...
wait. Look who's going to drill it off the front. He got, I saw a comment come up saying, oh, well, we're racing for second now. And whose numbers went straight to orange? Sam Hill.
Well, it's great to see Sam Hill racing. He's had quite a great year. He got married just before the Esport World Championships. Of course, they had an incredible performance there. And his beautiful now wife, they had a lovely honeymoon. She's a bike rider as well. And their social media, honestly, Anna, it's like on one hand, it makes me feel like old and domesticated. But on the other hand, it brings me so much joy. Like they're just absolutely loving life and loving riding their bikes. And it's fantastic. The Hill brothers are actually two of the best things that have ever come from Australian cycling.
What? Better than, perspective. I thought you were going to say best things to come out of Aussie. And I was going to say, what about a Tim Tam?
Oh, which I might note that I feel like a bit of a traitorously actually ate one for morning tea today.
I did.
Okay, a Tim Tam, Anna.
I know, I was eating a Tim Tam as
pineapple lump.
we started the coverage. I know, I just can't go past a double choc-coated Tim Tam. But, also I do, as I'm seeing my phone lighting up with people sending me photos, I do want to note I am doing a little highlights pack after this. Make sure you send me some photos of you on the bike, you are enjoying your ANZAC day, having this race. So send those through after, and we'll get them up on the highlights. But Sam Hill here, he has bridged up to Mark Bosted, and now this could be a bit of, I'm not sure of the Craig rider here from Dirt Vipers, the Canadian, but I know Mark Bosted and Sam Hill, this will be a battle.
Yeah, this is a very dangerous break. We did discuss the possibility of a break going before the Volcano Climb. To be honest, I wouldn't have thought it would be three of the most powerful riders we have in the race. I thought it would be three people trying to take a bit of an opportunity. Certainly Bosted and Hill. I'm not as all over Craig. We haven't seen as much of him. I'm not as familiar, but Bosted and Hill are exceptionally good climbers. So I would have thought that they didn't necessarily have the impetus to go early. But we have to consider that the Volcano Climb is a very friendly climb for powerful riders who might not like epic KOM, for example. It's a very different natured climb. It's a lot shorter. It's under 10 minutes, well under 10 minutes for these fellas. And it's also, there's only one or two steep pitches, but those steep pitches actually come at a point in the climb where the powerful riders can, if you will, kind of grunt over it and suffer through it. And they're able to do that and still throw out a lot of power. So it's not, strategically, it is a very good move, even if we didn't necessarily expect it. So Bosted trying to go alone. Now this is pushing. Now, the dirt section, Anna, explain to us the difference between riding on the dirt and the tarmac, because there's a significant difference in game, especially on a descent, isn't there?
Yeah, so it is. They will be slower, but because no one will be riding a gravel bike, it kind of gets neutralized, so it's not so much of a big problem. If someone had done a bike swap there, which would be, absolutely ridiculous, they would descend a bit slower. They'd lose all their time doing a bike swap, though. Just want to note these riders that they are passing on the road are from the shorter race, so a few out there for their leisurely ANZAC Day ride, but they are getting, you can just see how fast these guys are going when they get past. Now, this is not a situation that is great for Mark Bosted, though. If we have Sam Hill here and Craig in the Aussie kits sort of working over Mark Bosted, that will tire him out before the climb. But have a look at this, 4 seconds back, and we've already got people blasting off the front of the pack. So I think they could potentially get caught as they lead into the base of this volcano. They're not long away. So the Volcano Climb is about, I want to say 3.5 kilometers, 2.5 to 3.5K. It'll take these guys maybe sub 6 minutes, and we're looking at about 33K in. So they've only got 7 kilometers to go, not long. It is the calm before the storm.
Well, Craig is a verified Kiwi, so he's probably not going to be showing quite the same loyalty, even though he's wearing the Aussie jersey there. He's just picked a category. But fun fact about him, he's actually an ultra marathoner. So he can literally go all day. And that is great to see. I also want to acknowledge our ladies popping up in the comments. Letty, it's sensational to have her here. Letty was actually our soigneur, Anna, for the national team for a good number of years. Her husband's out there racing as well. And Letty is one of the kindest humans you will ever meet. And sensational to see her racing on Zwift. I think when she was swannying for us, she always wanted to actually be on the bike, never got the chance. And also I saw Kim Kern-Stokes poke her head up.
I want to mention her.
She's our 5K hero from Community League a couple of weeks ago. It was actually her birthday. But it's great to see all of the ladies here. We're not seeing them on screen because we're following the front pack. I just love having them here.
We will be able to give some results of the women at the end too, because I can see them over on Zwift Power. Remember, head to Zwift Power for all the live results. But Kim Kern-Stokes, she sent me a Facebook message with a photo because I have asked people to send me photos so I can include them in the highlights. It is just Beautiful. It was a photo of her. She had to get off a race early to feed her very, very young human. And
Oh,
yeah, it was phenomenal. Great little photo. And she was literally on the bike breastfeeding her baby. So great, great. Like I couldn't think of
oh.
anything better. It's just amazing. So great shout out to her as well.
Yeah, and I want that photo, please, Anna, if you can send that to me.
Sure.
Because I think we have the Chicks Who Ride Bikes community here, not just in Australia, but across the world. We have quite a lot of Kiwis in there as well, I might add. And if Kim is okay with it, I would love to share it with that community because I think that's a pretty special thing to see. A lot of very good encouragement. And we do have to remember, especially on a day like ANZAC Day, that all jokes aside about how competitive everybody is, there is an incredible mateship, not only across the ditch, but across the whole Zwift community. A lot of these riders have never met each other in person and, in fact, would walk straight past them in the street. But, you know, they do support each other online in racing and create this fantastic community. And I haven't actually been able to ride for months and months, Anna, and I really miss my little Zwift community. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get back on the bike soon just to see the waffle that comes up in chats and to get updates about how everybody's doing.
Oh yeah, it's the Zwift community is amazing, and yes, I do. You know, I give the Aussies a bit of slack, but I love seeing this out here. This is some huge numbers out riding on a very special holiday for our side of the world, so it's very cool. These guys are close to starting this climb, less than 5 kilometers to go. There's kind of a lot of chat going on for some people who are about to hit a pretty hard climb. So we'll see how they go. They might drop off the back early. I can see a few saying they're going to be better at the descent in the warm down. While they're doing this, I do just want to say in the shorter race, we did have Jason Robinson take that out over Nick Robertson, so different. And then Rusty Devlin from the Aussies was in third. And in the women, we had Sonia Foote take that out. Mai Kay was in second, and Taleri Reese was in third. Now they all look like Kiwis, so there we go.
You'll leave that just without comment. I like that. That's kind of classy, Anna, but and less feisty than I'm used to from you.
I'll let the results speak for themselves.
Passive aggressive.
Of course not. Of course not.
It is good to see the competitiveness as well, though. I'm loving seeing Tully Lister up there in this group. He does so much ride leading. It's so incredibly supportive of that aero community. And making sure that the riders are able to come into the different races, the different categories, and through aero. And I'm not sure if NZ Bro do this as well, Anna, but Tully's created some really incredible relationships with some local sponsors, which means that a lot of the athletes will have similar things. For example, the mats that they ride on. Get them personalised with their names and with the aero logos, and they get them some discounts. They have some great kit, in real life kit as well, so people can kind of identify themselves, which is pretty special. And I must say, the first time I went riding and saw another Chicks Who Ride Bikes jersey past me, and I had no idea who they were, it made me feel like it was a little bit warm and fuzzy. Like, I think it's really nice to have that connection. And the aero, there would be a lot of in real life jerseys getting around now that you might just see out riding and can kind of hark to. And when I was on a commentary job last year, I think it was, Anna, a cohort of the aero crew came and gave me some pins. Because they saw me doing some the broadcast, and they were like, we've listened to your commentary and we wanted to give you these pins. I loved it. And so I've got them sitting here under my little Zwift screen. So,
I love that.
Aero is a very good, very cool crew. Now let's get back to the racing. I was about to say Babe Ruth, probably not Babe Ruth. Ben Ruth.
He's going early. I think not a great strategy. I think this is a little too early because, like I said, the climb kind of kicks up, flattens, and then kicks to the end. So these parts are still relatively draftable. It will flatten off here, as you can see in the mini map in the top right. He's at 4%, but it will flatten, and these guys are just going to jump on his draft. You can still see Craig there repping Australia, but with the Canadian flag, and we've got Cridland. Now, he's a name I know, and he'll do pretty well here, so I think pretty much not a great strategy there, gone a little early, and I'm just worried with how many Australian jerseys there are. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 2, and this is tough, and you can just see Ben Ruth there. That was a bit early. He's getting picked up here. Now, who have we got off the front? Rose here.
Again, remember he was the first to go early on. He had a bit of a dig, and we thought it was a little bit too early, but good riding. But where is Sam Hill and Mark Bosted? They're just sitting at the back now.
They are. Here they are. Just kind of chilling at the back of this group.
But why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they, right? I mean, just to touch on Ben Ruth for a second, Anna, because he's a pretty special athlete. He's from a running background as well. But his 20-minute power and his 5-minute power is like offensively high.
Mm-hmm.
He's a slightly heavier rider, which I appreciate. And when I say heavier, let's keep this in context. I mean, he's a bigger frame, like a more powerful frame. He's still he races at about 74 kilos odd.
Right, yeah.
His power, and that's important because when we're thinking about going up climbs, we're not talking about anything that would hold him back. But he's got an over 400 watt 20-minute effort. Like he's incredible. And
so that's why
coming
he went
from
early.
The running background. And that's why we're thinking it's early. But I think that he knows. And again, I'm wondering if from the running background, Anna, he wants to dictate the pace of the climb, not have somebody dictate it for him, because just like we were talking about with the triathletes, it's often hard to be dynamic when you have the big backgrounds in those other sports. You're very good. Here he goes again.
Oh, he might have heard your commentary and said, you know what? No, yeah. I do have a 1-minute kick. They're actually about 1,200 metres from the end, it looks like. And Craig already dropping the feather. That's an early feather drop, I would say.
And but this is a steep, bitey section through here. I think that this isn't a bad feather drop at all from Craig, because I think that this will allow him to push that pace a little bit and get a little bit of a break up here. But I'm not sure that it is going to be his day and work for him. But Ben Ruth, I'm really impressed with his ability to just keep going. He really is a very good diesel climber and very powerful. But I reckon we're just waiting for Sam Hill quietly. Probably everyone's probably happy Mark O'Brien is not here this morning.
Yes, that is true.
For anybody doing community league, it sends shudders down your spine when you see his name on the start list. But dare I say, Sam Hill is equally as offensive a name on the start list when you're looking at capabilities.
Yeah, the 600 metres to go. They're kind of going to come around this left-hander. Now, it does kick up to about 10% at the finish, and that's where I think anyone with a feather will put in an attack there and almost sprint for the line with anything they've got left. Look at this, 180 beats a minute for Sam Hill, 440 watts there for a while off the front, relatively low cadence, so he's probably out of the saddle on his trainer at home, just cranking out these gears. We've got Craig here again attacking off the front to try and get to Ben Ruth, who keeps putting in digs the whole way up. He just wants to take this out. I don't know if he is working for Mark Bosted. Mark Bosted coming in and from behind, already up to 10 watts a kg. He's seen this as a bit of a danger time, and he is making his move. Now, Tully Leister, what a ride. He is right on Mark Bosted's wheel. Not only can he manage a team, he can ride with it. As I say that, I think he just blew a foo-foo valve, though, and has dropped like a stone off Mark Bosted's wheel. And Sam Hill, here he comes. Now, is this too late from Sam Hill? Because this is almost coming near the end. We've still got Ben Ruth at the front. This is the finish line just up there. Yeah. What have we got going on? We've got Craig here from Dirt coming around. Mark Bosted over the top. Who's going to take it out? Australia versus New Zealand. And it is Craig with Mark Bosted in second. And Ben Ruth holding on for third. Phenomenal. Looks like Sam Hill just kind of taking out fifth place there, or maybe fourth, but wow, what a finish between those two, Craig and Mark Bosted. Phenomenal.
That was a sensational finish. And here's Karsten Navani. He is a very, very powerful rider, better known for his sprint, really. But looking at these orange numbers, this is the kind of finish that does support that. Is he going to get pit? Oh, no.
I think he might have got it.
I think he might have got that too. It gives me a little bit of a giggle to see these guys in the Aussie jerseys because I recognise them so well from community leagues, and we know that they're not technically Australian. But I say technically because I think it was Akamoto who might have gotten over the top of him there. And I think we should adopt them. I mean, I think they've jumped in as an ACAT and gotten that Aussie jersey. And I think from now on, Karsten Navani is going to be one of ours.
Gordon McCauley, Commonwealth Games, Olympic Games. There we go, coming through to finish in about top 40. So he will feel okay about that, I think.
Oh, he's one of the old school kind of really impressive riders. There's an Aussie, Henk Vogels, who is of a similar generation, and they were both, very, very well respected by the generations coming up. And it's really great to see them in coaching roles as well. Bit of encouragement for the ladies here. Thank you, Sophie. We love the caramellos. Talking about ANZAC. If you're going to have a Tim Tam, you may as well have a caramello koala, Anna.
Oh, exactly.
While you're at it. We'll try and source some pineapple lumps over here and some L&P. I did actually see that in the supermarket the other day.
Oh, nice.
But I'm loving that the women are all supporting each other and giving some shout outs. But no matter whether you were at the very pointy end, I think the competitive spirit is very strong through this whole cohort. They are kind of vying for bragging rights. A lot of them out there treating this as a bit of a grand fondo, which I think is incredible because the enjoyment for cycling doesn't just come if you're Sam Hill or Mark Bosted fighting for that victory, or whether you are one of the riders who is coming in and setting a personal best or pushing some boundaries. And getting to do this so often, Anna, we know that a lot of these riders have incredible personal stories. Even knowing that Kim, KKS, as we like to call her, Kimberly Kearns-Stokes, is breastfeeding at the same time as participating. Like, what an inspiration.
Yeah.
It certainly has nothing to do with where they finish. The fact that they're even out there and getting it done is incredible. And I also think that the dads inside riding trainers are an incredible role model and inspiration to their kids as well. So I think overall I'm just loving seeing so many participate. Anna, did you say 462?
492, so almost
492. I'm just writing that down.
Yeah, good job. Do want to say that in that long race we had Craig for the Aussies take that out, Mark Bosted in second, Ben Ruth in third, Tully Leister in fourth, and Sam Hill in fifth. Now Sam Hill, he might be a bit miffed that he got beaten there by Tully Leister. Tully Leister will have the day of his life after that.
I think, I'm actually on the Aero community chat on Discord. So as much as I was trolling you, Anna, I might actually jump on the Discord and get involved in that. And I have to say that given that Craig is just an honorary Aussie, is actually Canadian, that I think we have to give I'm struggling with my words here, Anna, because it's tough, but
here's a Commonwealth.
I think New Zealand has come out on top.
I can see why
I know it's
okay. I think Kiwis have done pretty well in that one. Have a look at the results at Zwift Power after this to just see how everyone went. The women haven't finished yet, but it looks as though in that longer race, Maddie Roberts from AHDR is going to take that out in front of Jen Moroz from OTR Racing, actually. And then Vicky Whitelaw. Now, that is a name. Yeah. So she's looks like she may come in for third place there. So she's out there having a good time. Great to see Vicky. I haven't seen her in a while, so awesome to see her. Looking like she'll take out third. And that looks like Aussie woman 1, 2, 3, and in the shorter race, Kiwi woman 1, 2, 3.
Well, it all balances out, doesn't
it? Sure does.
It is. Well, Anna, thank you so much for not only co-commentating, but Anna is also the brains behind the production people. So you can thank her for these fantastic pictures. We will be doing highlights, so watch out for that. That will be coming shortly. But yes, do head over to Zwift Power and check out all of the results. Send Anna any photos. Tag us on social media as well, because we do love to see everything from the day. So congratulations to the Kiwis. I'll put that out there. And remember that today is a day to remember and to celebrate our ANZACs, and make sure you find your moment of silence to reflect on that. I think perhaps after that Zwift race, there may be some people on the floor taking a moment of silence, whether they mean to or not,
Exactly.
Anna. So we will be back for community leagues. You can see those over on YouTube if you want to get your fix of Zwift racing. And to anybody that doesn't participate in community leagues but has had a great time out there today, we do encourage you to jump in because community leagues, again, while it is racing, there is a great space just for community and participation. So have a great day, everybody, and thank you for joining us.